It's quite an honor. We really pride ourselves on the recruiting that we do here in terms of bringing guys in and getting guys that are a little bit under the radar, develop them, and we also bring in some big name recruits, and there's a little bit of both right now with this freshman group that has gotten some recognition. Braden McNitt has come in. He's a highly regarded player out of Michigan. It's a state that we've coveted to get players. It's a hard state for us to get players out of due to conference rivalries, but also Michigan State, and some great programs up there. And Braden has had an unbelievably fantastic season at being steady Eddie, super consistent, and I think it's a great honor for him. And then Florian, same thing. He's a bit of an under the radar guy, coming out of Germany, but at 6'4", great with both feet, serves a deadly ball, but also just it helps us be super dynamic in the system that we play. And I'm really pleased for these two as they've gotten the honor as all freshmen. And then moving forward, the second team honors I'm just as happy for. Joel Sundel is a player that for me, I think gets a little underappreciated on our roster, and I don't think it's other people. I think it's me because I want to play a very attacking style. I want to be pressing. I want to be forward. Sometimes we're playing three in the back, and that's a tough position to be in as a goalkeeper because you're going to take a lot more pressure. You're going to take a lot more opportunities. And you have to be a real complete goalkeeper if you play here because you have to be really good on your feet because you're going to be part of the build. But you also have to be able to pick things up that sneak through because we're going to be really high in the field, and you're also managing a lot of breakout moments, and he's done really, really well. I think his statistics are strong, especially given the way that we value playing and want to play. And I think he's really going to take some big next steps in the next year or two to really put himself in position to have a chance to play at the next level. And I think he's very, very capable. And then, Sam DeRoy, what do you say? I mean, he's a very good talent. He's a fifth-year senior. He's the biggest credit to him being second team is, the kid was a center mid his entire career here, and without even blinking, took a role as a right center back. Tell you what, if there's anybody that's selfless, it's Sam, and Sam deserved this recognition. And in many ways, as Sam goes, we go. And then Stefan, he led the conference in goals in the season in conference games. He's an extremely talented player. He comes from our little pool of kids that we bring in from Wisconsin every year. We love bringing Wisconsin kids in because there's a lot of kids that don't get seen. There's a lot of kids that kind of get undervalued and underappreciated, and we bring them in and develop them. And Stefan had a great freshman year in development and had a great sophomore year in terms of production. And so I think he is a guy that in the future, the next 2 years, we're going to hear a lot about, potentially even with some higher accolades. And then, tell you what, moving on to first team recognition, Dan Bent, he is our heart and soul in that back line. He is our voice. He is our passion. And the best thing about him is the person that he is. And that's something that people don't see if they just come game to game. Seeing him day to day, he's just such a pleasure and an honor to coach. And I really value him. As a player, sure, but really as a person. And that first team recognition is quite an honor. I think where I was really happy for him was where he was named the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. Because, that's an honor that we have not had a player have ever at Wright State since I've been here. That's 9 seasons. Jake Stovall was a draft pick out of that role. Emeka played with Toronto 2, a Toronto FC's subsidiary, and they weren't all-league Defensive Player of the Year performer. They were first team all-conference, sure, but to have a Defensive Player of the Year on our roster for the first time, that's a big deal. And it couldn't happen to a better human and guy. I know he's got the dreads and the look, and he's loud. He's honestly one of the best human beings I'll ever coach. And speaking of that, it's a great segue, AJ Patterson. We saw AJ on a club team that was very average in this off-field at a tournament a long time ago. And Jake called me, and he's like, I think I found the guy. And, Jake Sumker, is a very good coach, but he is one of the best eyes for talent that I've ever come across. And he was spot on. AJ's come in here. He's committed. He's developed. He's gone from a boy to a man. He's turned himself into a professional level player with professional level physicality and body and fitness, but also professional mindset is really starting to form. And we're really proud of him. So he's obviously a first team player as well, but also the player of the year in the conference. That's only the third time I believe we've had that, and all 3 have been within the last 3-4 seasons. He's had some great mentorship, guys like Eric Lynch and Peggy Nagacha, in order to get to that role. But honestly, AJ, and this is no offense to anybody before us, he stands alone. He came from where he came in as a naive player, not fit, and guys made fun of him a lot in certain things, and to to where he's come. I mean, this trajectory is pretty special. And so for me, in this moment, I'd like to really, honor AJ for not just a great season, but a career where his trajectory has been nothing but on the rise. I think he should be an MLS draft pick. I'm hopeful, and we're going to work on those things when the season finishes. But the largest thing right now is I think this week, today's game against Cleveland State will be a celebration of AJ in terms of his leadership and what he is as a player for us. Because he's played in 4 very good teams. He has won 45 games up to this point today. That hasn't been done since 1992. And I think standing alone there, he's had a special career. I'm hopeful that we have more days with him because I think there's more for him. But, it starts today. But overall, 7 guys on the team, which equates to the 7 guys we had on the team last year. I think it's an honor. I think the league coaches respect us, and I respect them. I think that there's a lot of great players in the conference, so to have these guys named, I think we're very fortunate, especially when they're talking about the guys that they're surrounded by. There's guys, Oakland's Richie, and Detroit's got 2 really great forwards, and, we've got our guy, Steph, and we've got Milwaukee's got 2 of the most dangerous players that I've seen, and there's great goalkeepers on this conference, and, Belmont's got the Italian kid who I think is special, and, I think, NKU's really turned it on, and every team in the conference, and speaking of Cleveland State, gosh, what a talented group. So for our guys to be named in 7 of them, I think that says a lot. And with 5 of them returning as we move to the future, which we're not thinking about much yet, I think the future's bright. And the kids that come here know they're going to get developed.